Am I the asshole for choosing our family dog over a friend hard on his luck? Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters, both under 5, live in a decent-sized apartment. Not grand or anything of the sort, but big enough for us and for us to host another person for a limited amount of time that it would not be a burden. Recently, a friend of mine that I've known for a few years from an old job is going through a divorce, has asked me for a place to stay. I talked it over with my wife and she has no problems with him staying with us. When I told him that he could stay, he was so grateful, but then told me to let him know once we have gotten rid of our dog and deep cleaned the home, as he has a severe dog allergy. We never knew about this as it has never been an issue. We always hung out at a mutual friend's house, work, the bar, or double dates at restaurants where no dogs are. I told him that we would not be able to get rid of our dog to accommodate, as he is a part of our family, getting older, and that it would honestly devastate our girls and us. He is now running around bad-mouthing us to our friend group for taking back our offer for him to stay with us and choosing a dog over his health. I have been receiving multiple calls saying that AITA for not helping him now. TLDR, I'm choosing our family dog over our friend staying with us due to his divorce. Edit, I've seen it asked. Me and my family are American from the East Coast. Very pet-friendly area. But we no longer live in the USA as of now due to my work, and currently live in a not-so-dog-friendly country on the other side of the world. Dogs here are not looked at as they are in the USA. Many view them little more than pests and don't understand viewing one as family here. Why aren't all these other friends offering up a place to stay? Next phone call or text you get asking you, gosh, I sure am glad you called. I'll let friend know if you're concerned and offer to let him stay with you. And then listen to the spluttering. Not the asshole. But, boy, your friends sure are judgmental people. Not the asshole. If he'd ask that the dog be kept out of his sleeping area, that would be totally reasonable. But if his allergy to dogs is so severe that it can't be managed with antihistamines, he can't be in an area a dog has been in, then your home was never a suitable option for him. He should have realized that instead of asking you to rehome your dog. Not the asshole. One of the other people in your friend group can accommodate him by getting rid of their own pets and paying for a deep cleaning. If he really needs a place to stay, he can try a hotel or whatever. But how urgent can he be if he can wait for you to find a new home for a family member? Just the suggestion to get rid of your pup would have been enough for me to say no. Not the asshole. You can't send away a family member cause of a person who is in the process of divorce. Lol. Beggars can't be choosers. Not the asshole in any way, shape or form. Who does he think he is? Lol. That's astounding nerve. Wow. Not the asshole. There might be a reason he is so down on his luck if he is making those demands. I also question the level of friendship everybody is if they are critiquing your very normal decision to not get rid of your dog to accommodate them. In fact, since they are so concerned for his well-being, they can take him in. Not the asshole. How could he expect you to get rid of your family dog? You were gracious to offer, but you're definitely not the a-hole here. Wow, just let him know once you got rid of the dog and deep cleaned the house. Those are some crazy expectations. Not the asshole, and don't let anybody tell you different. Not the asshole, you're not choosing a dog over him. What you're doing is deciding not to disrupt your entire family's lives because he didn't disclose His allergy when he asked to stay with you. If anyone calls you an ask why they aren't welcoming him into their homes. Not the asshole reply to anyone giving you shit with a link to this thread. Not the asshole. And no one is going to take his side. But I'm sure they are deaf laughing at him. You don't ditch family pets for your bro. That's not how it works. Until you didn't rescind your offer to stay. This guy wanted you to boot a family member. So he would be able to stay. Sounds like you dodged a bullet here. Guy sounds quite unreasonable. Not the asshole. It's in no way reasonable to assume someone will get rid of their dog for you. He changed the parameters of the arrangement. Not you. So you didn't take anything back. You just responded to the change. He can live with one of your friends who are wrongly calling you the R. Not the asshole. And who TF are these friends? Maybe re-evaluate the friends you have if these are people giving you shit. Woman facepalming, light skin tone. Not the asshole. And you didn't choose your dog. You chose a family member over an entitled person. Which is completely the right thing to do. I'm almost sure his bad luck is only a consequence of his attitude. Not the asshole. Say so long to your ex-friend. Not the asshole. Now you know why he's getting divorced and down on his luck. He's as entitled as damn it and thinks the world revolves around him. Tell your friend group to take him in. I wonder if things worked out where he could stay. How long it would take him to demand one of the kids' rooms because he needed it more. Or demand home-cooked meals made to his preference. Or laundry service. Not the asshole. You offered him a place to stay out of kindness after he asked. Now he suddenly had demands that you have to kick your dog out and deep clean your place. He should have told you about this before rather than after you accept to give him shelter. Sounds you have to thank your dog cause seen you dodge a bullet there. Ha 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 ha. What? Your friend is ridiculous. Of course you're not the asshole. Not the asshole. Asking to remove family from your home is just unreasonable. Then, badmouthing you. Yeah. Keep him away from your property. Not the asshole. If this isn't fake, can you imagine what his soon-to-be ex-wife had to put up with? The people calling you an R can take him in. Ugh, this guy sounds toxic AF. Thank God he's not staying. He would have been hell to live with. What a drama queen. Not the asshole. I hope you have dumped him and any friends who agree with him. A dog is a lifelong commitment and you have more responsibility to the helpless dog than the crappy human trying to take advantage of you who can figure out their own life themselves. Not the asshole. And those that are calling you to bitch can offer him a place to stay. Wow. Not the asshole. I would have laughed in his homeless face. Not the asshole. What kind of entitled yar is this person? You beg for a place. But put way over the top demands to it. Asking someone to get rid of their pet. When they are doing you a favor no less. Way too entitled. You and your family dodged a huge bullet. He would have been a nightmare. My guess. His so is divorcing reason. Your pet is your family. He is a waste of space. You are not the asshole at all. This person is awful. Don't feel bad about this for a nanosecond. Even. Not the asshole. Your friend should not be dragging your name through the mud. He shouldn't be trying to catch a place to stay. Either. He can find and fund temporary housing until he resettled. And it isn't a terrific idea to house men friends of yours for any length of time in your home with your young children. Especially girls. Am I the asshole? For deleting my cousin's wedding pictures that I wasn't paid for. My younger cousin's wedding was last December and she asked me to be the photographer for the wedding. I'm a semi-professional photographer. She told me what types of photos she wanted and I gave her a quote of just under 1K. Wedding happens. I take the pictures. I edit them. Then wait for payment, which we agreed I'd get in full after the wedding before sending any pictures. However, suddenly she didn't have money and wanted to set up a payment plan to pay it off in 8 months and still get the pictures now. It's not that I don't trust her, but once you start opening such doors you'll find it hard to close them. So I told her we could do the payment plan, but the photos will only be released when the full amount is paid. Didn't even add interest. She didn't respond. February rolls in and she asks to at least see samples to confirm that they were worth the price. I sent 4 pictures and she says she'll show them to her husband and get back to me. Cue silence for a week or 2 until I asked for an update and she responded saying she's still discussing it with him. I told her this was getting long and she must just start paying now, and she ignored me again. So I'd saved the photos on my roommate's flash drive temporarily while I was waiting on an actual hard drive. June came around and he texted me while I was at work saying he needed to use it and took it from my room but saw that there was still files on it. He couldn't move it to his laptop because it didn't have space, thus him needing the flash, so he was asking if he could delete the files. I saw fine and he deleted them. I still had about 20 of the photos saved on my phone from when I was choosing sending the samples. So I just explained the situation in a message to her and sent the existing photos free of charge. That was last month and I'm still getting flamed for this. She's been slandering me online and it's quite literally created a division between our families. And to the point that our mums don't talk now. I obviously feel bad but also feel like, given the circumstances, I wasn't really in the wrong, though still acknowledge that it's obviously very shitty for her that I would have wished to avoid. What do you guys think? Am I the asshole? This story seems awfully familiar. I would respond to her slamming you online by saying this is what happens when you don't pay for services rendered and post copies of any and all texts contracts. Don't do business with family. It is for this exact reason I refused to have my nephew and niece in my class when I taught. Do not mix professional and family life. It rarely works out well. Whereas I agree that you should improve your storage logistics. I think it was way obvious that your cousin wasn't going to pay for your job alone. Her attitude of let me see if they're worthy of the amount we agreed upon is typically add up the slandering. She's in huge territory. Problem here is you're postponing doing the backup for around 6 months. But still, not the asshole. She tried to get your work for free. Refused to acknowledge her previous arrangement with you and then cried when she didn't get everything for free. Can't you send a cease and desist? Not the asshole. She played around too much and continued to drag out her responses. No payment. No photos. Simple. Family or not. She was given options. She didn't respond in a timely manner with a solution. Now she gets nothing. I don't understand why people hire others for their services if they don't even have the money. Surely everybody else got paid. I'm sure she was hoping as family you would just say F it and hand them over if she dragged long enough. They were your photos. Your cousin hadn't paid for them. You simply deleted some of your photos. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You were not paid and end of day they at least got a few pictures for free, like they always intended. Your cousin sounds kinda scummy. You have a business and the agreement was she would pay you XXX amount for those pictures. She had no intention to pay you because 1. She probably overspent on the wedding and 2. A lot of people take advantage of their family. You try to work with her, but if you would have gave her the pictures up front you might have seen 8 months of payment or a couple, then it would have stopped. That's why they always say never to in business with family. Not the asshole. She never even paid you. I'd have deleted the rest off my phone too. You're honestly too generous. I agree with not sending the photos until you received the money. She was obviously planning on stiffing you. However, if this is how you handle your product, borrowing a flash drive to store the only copy of someone's photos, you should give up the claim to being any sort of professional photographer. Not the asshole. She didn't pay and you were generous to even send her the ones you still had on your phone. You never agreed to give your services for free. Not the asshole. She was never going to pay you. Doesn't actually matter. Not the asshole. You don't get what you don't pay for. Not the asshole. She agreed to pay, she didn't pay, then she got free photos. In reality you are not the asshole, but because it was wedding photos. The family that decided you're the asshole over this will die on that hill. Not the asshole. She backed out of paying you after agreeing to. Wow. I have zero idea how anyone can blame you for this. Not the asshole. How people can says otherwise. It's a business. How long she expect anyone to wait for her? You don't pay. You don't have any rights. UWSITED 6-7 months. Enough is enough. Not the asshole. I'd say it would have been ideal if you had been able to get the photos saved, moved elsewhere, or dropped her a message to say that the files would need to be deleted soon so she had a chance to respond to you about payment, but you've explained that it wasn't possible at that time. It's a shit situation, but she still hadn't paid you or let you know what was happening, and enough time had passed. Not the asshole. It seems to me that your cousin was always planning to stiff you and thought you would just accept it. Former freelance photographer here. What quality, file size, and type of photos did you take that they all fit comfortably on your buddy's flash drive? Every photo I've ever taken had to be put on a hard drive because the original images are huge to me. That lets me know your photos probably were not good quality. She also obviously sucks for not wanting to pay for them. Not the asshole. I'm sure that the rest of the vendors that provided services stuff for the wedding have already been paid. I'm a hobby photographer and still back up every raw image I take to at least 2 drives and cloud storage. You aren't semi-pro using your mate's flash drive. Not the asshole. Payment was not made after months. Cousin never got back to you about pictures being worth the price. You were even extra nice by sending him the extra 20 on your phone. I wouldn't have. Family has learned that you are not a doormat. You couldn't get a hard drive between Deck and Jun. Run us all through the semi-professional aspect of being a photographer again. Is this the reference you really want when trying to get future work? You suck. They suck. I feel sorry for your roommate. Am I the asshole for telling my parents that I never asked for a brother? When my dog passed away last month, my brother said, "I know how you feel. I felt the same way when Iron Man died. I just stared at him before telling him he must be dumb as rocks if he thinks he can compare my dog to a fictional character. He then said it's only a dog. Though, at that point I said some harsh stuff to him. I told him he is only someone who has the same parents as me. And doesn't mean anything more than that. And that I never cared about him. I didn't mean it. Of course. I did used to care about him before what he said when my dog died. But I was angry. I wanted to lash out. I wanted to just shout at him and get him out of my place. I no longer want him in my life. Our parents later told me I shouldn't have treated him, my little brother, that way. And that they raised me better than that. They told me that I should apologize since he's my brother, so I told them that I never asked them for a little brother. They seemed really hurt. Did I go too far? Honestly, I thought you both were 20 years younger than the ages you listed from that description. I felt sad too when Iron Man died. I used to love him before he said that. Why are you two having a young teenager drama? These ages don't make sense. Grow up, he's 22 and little stupid with his joke, but you 34 telling your parents I didn't ask for a little brother, it's almost petulant. What a weird thing for him to say, but my god, what an and immature thing for you a 34 meters to say to him and your parents. You both sound like children. And you're both the R. You and your family sound exhausting. For someone who is 34. And your brother 22. You both seem to have the emotional control of a child. I get that he said something hurtful while you're grieving. But then you turn round and say things to potentially ruin your relationship with your brother is an overreaction. I know the saying is drunk minds speak sober thoughts. But I think it applies to anger as well. You don't say something with that much hate and not have some amount of truth behind those feelings. I guarantee your brother felt that. If you were 6, I'd say not the asshole. But 34. I'm a dog lover and cut my sister's hair for calling my dog ugly. I was 4. You could have made your point that he was being insensitive and unwelcome without completely losing your shush. You went too far. You're the asshole. You're both grown-ass men. Stop acting like toddlers. Grief isn't a competition. Holy shit, you're 34. I feel bad for Yal's parents. You sound shockingly immature. It's really insensitive for him to say it's just a dog brew, and you're an asshole for saying what you did. What? Your parents need your permission to have kids. It was out of pocket and you know it. Apologize to him. Even if he doesn't act your age, he'll realize how dumb he was for saying that. If he hasn't already. Our parents later told me I shouldn't have treated him, my little brother. Little brother? He's 22. Your brother thinks he's tough or funny to make such a boneheaded remark like that and then runs to mommy and daddy because you were mean. Your parents for treating him like an infant when he is clearly an adult. And expecting you to treat him like an 8-year-old. You for saying that to your parents. You could have taken a different tact, although I get why you didn't and just said that everyone can agree to disagree. Your brother's comment wasn't sympathetic and should know the difference between something in real life dying and a character. But your retaliation was also juvenile. Given your ages. You're the asshole. Are you really 34? You both sound about 20 years younger than the ages you stated. WTF lol, yes, you're the asshole. You both seem to lack moral intelligence. Maybe the parents are the Rs. Info, did you make typo on age? I really wanted to say grow up and then realized you're a whole ass 34-year-old. Your brother is an idiot but you're acting like a 6-year-old. I wouldn't want to deal with any of y'all's bullshit IRL. He shouldn't have said what he said. It was cold and insensitive. But completely ripping into him and telling him that he's only your brother because you have the same parents. That's just vicious. I get it. I have lost family members, dogs included. But that was a massive overreaction. Especially if he hasn't lost anyone or anything close to him like that. He was a weirdo for comparing your dog's death to a fictional character and a dick for saying, "It's just a dog." But you could have just called him out for the dick he was being and ended it. Instead you went on a weird tirade lying that you never cared about him. You are a grown man. Cheap emotional attacks should be left in your teens. Your brother is dumb as dog shit. And you can say so. Don't resort to other petty attacks. My thoughts exactly. I had to double check the ages here. They're 15-20 years older than I thought they would be by the post. I get it. You're hurting, and what he said was awful. But you went nuclear with that response. Everyone telling OP to grow up. His brother was also an adult and should know better. You were hard on him, but I will give you a pass because you are grieving. People who have never owned pets just don't understand. I once read that 90% of pet owners tell their fur babies every single day that they love them. I wonder what percentage of people say the same to their spouses. He lacks empathy, and your response to that lack of empathy is to try and hurt him as much as possible. When your parents called you on it, you tried to hurt them as much as possible. You escalate disproportionately. This is coming from a dog lover. If my brother was dismissive of my dog death, I would be pissed and insist on an apology. I wouldn't wish he had never been born. Both of you need to grow up. Your brother was unbelievably insensitive to compare his reaction to the death of a fictional character to the death of your real dog. However, your reaction was way out of proportion and completely inappropriate. Both of you sound like you have zero emotional intelligence. You are both assholes. Not the asshole. But is he okay? Seems aberrant. Also, it was sad when Iron Man died, but I reacted worse to John Wick's dog getting killed. Sorry about your pup. Mine is 15 and I'm just dreading the day. You're both mentally stunted AF. As a parent, my reaction would be, if one of my children said something like that, to roll my eyes and think, OFFS. He said that and he's 34 years old. Your brother is an R. For what you said, you are R. And your parents are R because of their reaction. Stay away from each other. Both of you can stand to mature. Also, sorry for your loss. For God's sake, you guys are both adults. At least behave like it. Is my verdict. And grow up. Your parents failed both of you. Your brother is immature. And you're just a mean person. Am I the asshole? For not dyeing my hair for my sister's wedding? My sister invited me to her wedding happening in November. She specifically called me to tell me how my hair color. I've been dyeing my hair green for the past 4 years will be distracting there. And would take too much attention. And she asked me to dye my hair black dark brown because it's the natural hair color of both of us. I refused. and she told me then I can't attend the wedding. I was okay with this. I told her I didn't want to dye it such a dark color, because it's hard to remove and dye it back green. If she wanted something natural, I told her I would be okay with blonde because I can dye it back. The next day, she said that wasn't natural on me also, so I still won't be allowed to attend. I didn't understand this because multiple of the other guests have dyed hair. Even our mom's hair is dyed a dark purple color and she was fine with that. My parents are angry at me for not having respect for my sister and dyeing my hair in her favor. And my sister's fiancé has been texting me saying the same thing. Small edit update. She also said no to the wig. I'm not going. I don't care anymore. Not the asshole. Heck. People know you for who you are, and that includes your hair color. As a result, if you showed up with a wildly conventional hair color, that would draw a lot of attention. That's precisely what she says she fears. You be you. She should love you as you are. You are not a prop to be dyed to fit her color scheme. That she is okay with purple hair on her mother indicates that she has a particular issue with you. That's sad. You didn't choose to exclude yourself, as you are, from her wedding. She did. Not the asshole. I'm really tired of this. It's my wedding, so I can make any demand I want, and I must be obeyed. Fuck that. Ask if you can wear a wig. If this isn't good enough, enjoy not going to the wedding. Not the asshole. It's literally hair. Why the hell are they so controlling over it? Nope. Entire. You'd have to change your entire hair color appearance for a wedding that is one day. Your family sound like a bunch of hypocrites. Pretty accommodating of you to offer to dye it blonde for the day. Not the asshole. Your sister and your family are being hypocritical as. Not the asshole. You are a guest. Why is it okay if mom's hair is purple? If she's getting married at 23, chances are this marriage won't last, so don't bother dyeing your hair. Wait. Attend. Not. You can't be a bridesmaid, but you can't even be at the wedding. WTF. Dye your hair blonde and crash the wedding. Even then you would be. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. There is no reason for you to agree to this ridiculous request. Not the asshole. You have the right to choose your hair color and were more than accommodating by offering to go blonde and change your body for her when it should never have been requested. She also has the right to not include you in her wedding for any reason, as it is her wedding. Not the asshole. Some people are completely bonkers when getting married. If you had a penis tattoo on your face, it would be understandable for her to ask you to cover it. But hair? That's just weird. If you want to smooth things over, maybe a temporary dye or spray would work. Yeah, no. The stuff people use on Halloween. Or a cheap wig. I am reminded of a Miss Manners column. A woman asked whether it would be okay if she asked one of her bridesmaids to not dye her hair red or purple, since the bride was conservative and wanted the pictures to reflect a certain decorum. Miss Manners' reply. Gentle reader, sorry. Miss Manners can be of no help whatsoever with your desire to redecorate someone you supposedly cherish. In the interest of falsifying her in your wedding pictures, can be a bit of a badass at times. Anyway, not the asshole. Tell her that unless she is enforcing this rule on every guest with dyed hair, including your mother, then she has no right to demand it of you. What applies to one, applies to all, or none at all. Not the asshole. This isn't about hair, it's about power over you. Not the asshole. Op. Wedding or not. You don't need games like this in your life. Not the asshole. If you wanted to keep the peace, I'd ask about getting a wig. Maybe. But other than that, nah. Not the asshole. Enjoy a day with freedom on your own. Not the asshole. You offered a fair compromise and she won't budge. So neither should you. Not the asshole. Your parents are angry because you don't have respect. Respectful people invite others to attend and participate in their weddings because of who they are, not what they look like. Your sister's demand is disrespectful and unreasonable. Not the asshole. She's the one being disrespectful. By the way, if everyone knows you with green hair, you showing up with dark hair would be much more distracting. She's choosing not to have you in her wedding, not the other way around. Oh, my complete and utter bullshit. Mom's purple hair is fine. Anyone else's dyed hair is okay. Just not yours. Or, poor baby girl bride wants her way and parents back her up. The proverbial no is a complete sentence. Not the asshole. Oh wow, those weddings are getting out of hand. Not the asshole, obviously. Intar. You're a person, not a prop. Sincerely, a bride with bright purple hair. Not the asshole. Your sister needs to get over herself. Some of these am I the asshole? Weddings must be such boring events. You're a not the asshole. Can ya rent a wig for the day? Or she can buy you one. What's wrong with a wig? Not the asshole. Not the asshole, it's wedding. People's hair color doesn't matter. Either you care more about having your loved ones there or you care more about the photos. Not the asshole, your family is weird. Not the asshole. She doesn't have the right to demand you make changes to your body for a one-day event. I'm so sick of bridezillas who try to force their friends and family to alter their appearance for one freaking day. Not the asshole. Okay. I am starting to believe that all these posts with the crazy brides and the family members who are always on their side must be trolls. Why on earth would a bride care for anyone else's hair color besides hers? And why a mother with purple hair would be understanding to something like that? How much free time do these brides have to care for such trivial issues? And why do they think that their event of a few hours is so important to everyone else that they should change their appearance so drastically for it? Just in case this is real. Not the asshole, of course. Just do you. Not the asshole. I don't know if this is cultural, because I see so many of these posts. But people demanding other people to change their appearance for their special day is absolutely ridiculous to me. I can never imagine doing this to a family member or friend. People care too much about aesthetics and less about having good and long-lasting relationships. Info. Do you want to attend? Info. Is a wig or hat an acceptable compromise? Not the asshole, your parents are delusional. This is not an acceptable request. Tell them if she wants you there in any capacity without green hair, she can buy you a wig and you will wear that for the event. Am I the asshole for not wanting to fire my maid to please my girlfriend? Throwaway account for privacy. I am 25, have been in a relationship with Amy F. 23 since nearly 3 years. And we started to live together 2 months ago in my apartment. I love her and everything was going well until this argument. I am very lucky to be born in a rich family. So my parents used to have a maid to do the housework. Maria. She has been working for my parents since I'm 7 and became a family friend. For example, we were all invited to the wedding of her daughter. Last year, my parents took a well-deserved retirement and enjoy some trips, visit family, etc. So since last year, they have spent very little time at home. So Maria didn't have much work to do in their home. My parents proposed to have Maria as a maid for my apartment. I gladly approved because I love Maria. And usually I am very tired after work. So it is nice to have someone to take care of the home. Maria was also happy to keep working for us. My parents insisted to cover the whole wage of Maria until the end of my residency. Even if I could do it, she earns about 2.5 times minimal salary in my country. Amy comes from a more modest background and doesn't understand the principle of having a maid. She doesn't want Maria to iron her clothes or tidying her stuff. I thought she wasn't used to, but Amy seems to dislike Maria for some reason. Here is the conflict yesterday. Maria came to work and especially clean the bathroom. Amy was supposed to be at work, but she was showering and didn't put the lock. You know the rest. Amy got angry at Maria and yelled at her. Maria called me to explain me the incident. She told me she apologized and tried to say she thought Amy was at work, that she rang the bell before entering with her key. When I came home, Amy was still angry. She says Maria is sneaky and creepy and that I should fire and we should just split chores. I try to calm her down and told that maybe she was overreacting. But she is having none of it. Honestly, I don't want to ditch Maria. I have total trust in her. She is almost family to me. Also, I know I sound a bit lazy, but both Amy and I have pretty demanding jobs, so dealing with chores after work would be tiring. Furthermore, it would without doubt upset my parents. I tried to explain all of this to Amy, but she called me an egoistical and lazy R. She said that I choose Maria instead of her and her comfort. She is now giving me the cold shoulder. I feel bad about this. I talked about it with my friends. Some sides with me, but a few also say that I am in the wrong. I'm a bit torn. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You are in a residency program and are understandably tired. Your family wants to help you and help Maria. Something they can afford to do. I honestly don't see the problem. If the problem is that you are wealthier than Amy, then that problem is not going to go away. And I'm pretty sure that you want to continue living what is probably an American upper middle class lifestyle. Amy is going to have to adjust, or I don't see how this can work out. Not the asshole. My heart breaks for Maria, who was just trying to do her job. Your chief's inferiority complex over your family's ability to afford a maid isn't your problem, and she should not be taking it out on Maria. Not the asshole. Your arrangement with Maria is a long-standing one and Amy needs to accept it or she can move out. It's okay if your girlfriend wants to take care of her own personal stuff, but she gets no say about the rest of the house. Not the asshole. Amy shows no compassion to people who you deem as trustworthy and have been with you for a while. You are getting the preview of what she's like when she doesn't get her way. The way she yelled at Maria shows how she treats people. You're not the asshole. She is. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. Not the asshole. You have a GF problem. You need to fix that. A maid so trusted that they're almost like a family member is super rare. Girlfriends like Amy who like to pass judgment on lifestyles she doesn't nor tries to understand are a dime a dozen. Looks like Amy is about to be an ex-girlfriend. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. How does Amy treat the waitstaff at restaurants? She's giving you an ultimatum. That's not a healthy response in a relationship. Not the asshole. Although I do understand her not wanting her stuff to be touched. Personally, I don't like anyone touching my clothes items apart from my partner. The bathroom thing a genuine misunderstanding. I definitely don't think it's fair for her to say Maria is a creep. Not the asshole. She says Maria is sneaky and creepy and that I should fire and we should just split chores. I could be off here. But it seems she has trust issues more than you being lazy. That seems a little weird to me given the context of Maria that you gave. As she is not just a random maid. There is nothing wrong with hiring a maid. And especially in the context you provided. Not the asshole. Sneaky and creepy. That sounds a little over the top. Any chance Maria is a different race than you two? Wow. Amy is sure taking this having a maid thing badly. I personally would love one. With my problems, taking care of myself is a challenge. I was thinking about it as I read. Amy may have no idea what Maria is supposed to do. She needs to understand that this is Maria's job. And she is a professional. Have you asked Amy why she wants to see Maria unemployed? Sounds like you can only keep one of them. The choice seems pretty straightforward. Not the asshole. But I would sit down girlfriend and ask her WTF is this really about? Maria is just doing her job. If your girl doesn't likes it, she doesn't has to live there. Not the asshole. You've had a lifetime with Maria. Your GF is insecure, class conscious and jealous. X200B. Keep Maria. And tell your GF she is not allowed to yell at or abuse your family's companion. If she continues, let the GF go. Not worth your time. She's literally jealous of Maria and that is not okay or acceptable. You are not the asshole. Especially if you show the girlfriend the door and keep the maid. Do make a point of tidying up after yourself so her cleaning work is easier. Not the asshole. You and your girlfriend are incompatible. Sounds like too much of a social class difference, to be honest. A lot of people from lower middle income backgrounds are vehemently opposed to having a maid housekeeper and look down on it. It sounds like your GF is like this. Amy seems very dramatic. So, she would prefer Maria get fired. I am a little surprised at going with not the asshole after the title, but it seems to fit. Not the asshole. You can't fire anybody for just doing their job. Especially almost family. If your GF can't and won't show compassion, then perhaps it's the GF who should be fired. Not the asshole. Amy can look down on the maid all she wants, but she's earning an honest living doing hard work and she earns that pay. She depends on you for job security. If you were to fire her after all her years of working for your family, you would be a massive R. Amy can get her own place and do her own chores. Am I the asshole for telling my son he and his fiancée is spoiled? I'll try to keep this short. My M57 son M23 is engaged to Peggy F22. They have been engaged for 5 months or so. Our culture dictates that Peggy's father and I share the costs for their wedding. Her father said we should provide $10,000 each. A total $20,000 budget. I could afford this, sure, but this seems insane and extravagant to me. I said I would give $5,000 and he could give whatever he wanted. Peggy's father also put up $5,000. I told my son this and he told me outright it wasn't going to be enough. He said, I don't mind. I figured that me and Peggy would have to pay for some of the wedding. I asked what he meant. He said no way would they be able to do their wedding in under $10,000. I said my own wedding, after haggling and deals, only came out to around $7,000, so I do not think this is an issue. He argued against me and said that my wedding was 40 years ago and prices were different. He outlined some prices and said the cheapest venue he could find was $5,000. And food alone was going to be $2, $5K. He again said he didn't mind and he thanked me for giving them money for the wedding, but I honestly felt hurt that he thought we were not giving enough. I said how could food come out to $2,500, and he said that that was only around $25 per person. I suggested ordering pizzas or sub sandwiches, but he looked at me like I was crazy. I said okay, well, we can just offer less for the photographer and decorator, and he said that isn't how things are done. I said it is how things are done. And maybe if Peggy and him weren't so spoiled and expecting the best of the best for everything, then $10,000 would be plenty. After I said this, he just closed his eyes and thanked me for the money and basically told me to get out. I was complaining about this instance to my wife and she told me I was being a stick in the mud and it's his only wedding. My friends agree with me though. Am I the asshole? You're the asshole. Your son was incredibly gracious, but you had to keep pushing. He even thanked you. Do you pay the same price for gas, food, clothes, etc. like 40 years ago? Do you live under a rock? You're the asshole. $7,000 in 1983 is about $24,500 now. So by your logic you should be giving him $12,000. Not $5,000 or $10,000. Obviously you aren't obligated to give him any money. But he kindly accepted the $5,000 you offered, and you had no place to then berate him about how he was overspending. And you have no reason to feel hurt over this. You're the asshole and so wildly out of touch. You evidently have no idea how things work now. It's the mentality of my grandparents. Which is understandable as they are in their 90s. You really have no excuse. Was your wedding also a pizza party? You're the asshole. An average wedding these days is about $25,000. Depending on where you live. Your son and future Dill aren't spoiled. They handled this gracefully by making it clear they don't mind paying for some of the wedding themselves and thanking you multiple times for contributing. You calling them spoiled was out of line and you should apologize. Are you also one of the people who acts shocked that students can't pay for a college education outright with their wages from a summer job flipping burgers? You're the asshole. You're the asshole. He was respectful and thankful. Explained why $10K would not go far for a wedding at today's prices. Your response was to suggest pizza and subs at a wedding FFS and insult him and his fiancée. Your son is a far better man than you. Yes. You're the asshole. He thanked you for the money and is planning on paying for the rest. How they spend their money isn't your business. Can you seriously not envision that prices have increased over several decades? You're the asshole. Not for deciding that all you want to give was $5K. That's fine. You're the asshole for not believing with inflation that a wedding could cost $20K just because yours cost $7K 40 years ago. And then to keep questioning him like he was lying. Why don't you get a quote for a basic wedding from a wedding coordinator? You'll be shocked that throwing a wedding for $10K is on the cheaper side. Cutting a ton of corners. He said thanks. He appreciates it. And will put his own money in. End of. You're the asshole. I googled a quick inflation calculator. $7,000 in 1980 equates to just under $26,000 today. So actually your son is talking about a wedding that's cheaper than yours. In other words, this is like you being asked to plan your wedding back in the 80s for less than $2,800. Info: is this wedding in the US? You're the asshole. $10K is barely a bare bones wedding anymore. Also, your son was having a conversation with you. He doesn't seem to have been bitching that you didn't give enough. He just said it wouldn't cover everything and that he was prepared to make up the difference. He is right. You really don't know how things work anymore. You're the asshole. If culture dictates that you and the other father should split the cost, and your son points out how much things cost, you should reflect on that. They are not being spoiled. You are being stingy. You don't ask someone to order pizzas and subs for their wedding dinner. Even after all of this, your son had the decency to thank you for your contribution. If nothing else, you raised a decent person. You're the asshole. For a nice wedding, and I don't mean extravagant, it is roughly $25,000 these days. You are very out of touch with how much inflation has affected the cost of a wedding. You're the asshole. You spent $7,000 of your parents' money when you got married 40 years ago. That would be about $25,000 today. $10,000 today would have been $2,800 when you got married. You are being a hypocrite. You got the best of everything when you got married at your parents' expense. But you expect your son and his fiancée to pay for over half the wedding to get an equivalent celebration. Info: they're prepared to pay. He thanked you for helping. Where's the spoiled part? You're the asshole. I mean, there was a new study that even a casual weekday lunch averages $15. $10,000 is not enough for a car down payment for a house or a wedding anymore. Let's put this in terms of vehicle costs. A Chevy Silverado 2-door short bed work truck sold for new at just over $10,000 in 1983. That same truck, now a work truck, nothing fancy, brand new in 2023, has an MSRP of just over $40,000. If a truck, house groceries cost 4x what they did 40 years ago, why wouldn't a wedding cost that much more? You don't have to give him more, but you could admit you have no idea what things cost now. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. How are they acting spoiled? Son thanked you for the money and just explained how things cost more now. You're 57. Have you not noticed inflation creeping up on literally every single thing with a dollar amount over the years? Really? Am I the asshole for not letting my sil add my kids to the chore list? My sil lives in a fairly large 6BD farmhouse on 10 acres. We are building a home across the street, and in the meantime, we have a camper parked on SIL's property. The only time we go into her house is to use the bathroom or shower. We have electricity in the camper but no running water. The rest of the time we are across the street building, and our kids 14 meters. 12F. 8 meters are with us helping. We pay Sil $180 a week to park our camper there, which is campground prices. Late afternoon yesterday, my sil asked us to all come inside to talk, and she pulls up her chore list with my kids' names added to it. Things like laundry, dishes, cleaning the living room, sweeping, mopping, cleaning table countertops, garbage, returnables, even helping cook meals we do not eat with them, etc. She said, "Does this work for you?" I won't let anyone clean the bathroom because I'm the only one who does it properly. I immediately said no. My kids don't even go in her house unless they are showering or shitting, so if anything, I'd make them clean the bathroom, not the rest of the house that they don't use. I'm not going to be making them do chores to that extent for simply using the bathroom, after they've been helping us all day with building our home. My Sil, who works all the time, says the kids are in here much more than that because all my snacks are gone, and I always come home to a trashed house, and I didn't before you guys started staying here. She's clearly not putting two and two together with the fact that her own daughter has had consistent friends over for the past 2 weeks since school let out, and her husband does nothing to parent, which I brought to her attention. My kids don't eat her food at all either. I've made a point to preach to my kids about minimizing our footprint here for this specific reason, her trying to blame my kids for her trashed house. My husband is saying that maybe I should just allow her to add the kids to 1 or 2 chores a week to keep his sister at bay, but I've refused. We pay to be here and we do not go indoors at all unless it's for the bathroom. As I've stated, my kids are not going to be scrubbing her house top to bottom for using a restroom, and I have since told my husband we need to create an outhouse system on our property so we don't have to go in there at all. He says I'm making things more difficult when in reality, I'm protecting my kids from being used. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She's either trying to get free labor or being willfully ignorant of her daughter's behavior. You pay rent. Anything more is extortionate. Not the asshole. Try to get as soon as possible a porta potty or similar system on your own yard. Did you have water on your yard running? Invest some bucks to install your own bathroom temporary. It will be worth every cent. It will giving you freedom and peace. Not the asshole. First off, she should have come to you before whipping out the chore assignment. She's not in charge of you or your family. Tell her you are paying for the inconvenience of you being there, and anything beyond that has to be discussed first. Not the asshole. Your Sil is blaming your kids because it's easier to do that than see her child and her husband are the problem. I agree with setting up something at your new property so your kids don't have to enter her house. Maybe a compostable toilet and outdoor shower would work while you are under construction. Not the asshole. Having your kids take a turn at the bathroom cleaning would be reasonable. Because you use that. Nothing else is reasonable. Because you don't use that. Not the asshole. Your kids shouldn't be expected to be maids for a house they didn't help trash. They could be expected to help clean the bathroom, but she doesn't want him to. And that's on her. Not the asshole. She's trying to exploit your children for free labor, and it's weird that your husband is trying to compel you to go along with it. Stick to your guns and don't let her turn your kids into personal servants. Not the asshole. I see location flag that after you moving in, Auntie will go on with her demands. And it's so typical when Daddy is on his family side, aka sister, and forgot that he should be fair to his children and wife too. You know the family he chose to build. Can't you order out a house shower with a tank? It should be possible. Where I live you can order water tanks. Info. Is there a reason why you can't move the camper to your own property? Not the asshole. The only way to stop it is to move your camper onto your land. Make outhouse system and stop paying her. Not the asshole. If you are sure they don't come in, then there is no need to have them help her with chores. You are paying for your stay there. Look into renting a porta potty and put your trailer and the porta potty on your land. Not the asshole. She's trying to take advantage of your kids for free labor. Good on you, mama, for calling out her BS. Her own kids and hubby can clean the mess they make themselves. Your family is not involved in that. Not the asshole. Sil could put the $180 towards a maid if the cleaning issue is that great. I completely understand why you're paying them to stay. Even though I couldn't see charging family in the same situation. Your husband should also have your back on this. It's his family. He should be the point person on telling his sister no. While husband is understandably trying to compromise. I don't see it working. More time spent in the house means more opportunities for getting blamed for things. If you're paying campground prices, why don't you just stay at a campground? As soon as I got to the point where your husband rolled over and told you to have the kids do whatever Sil says, I knew that was the real problem. Info. I feel like there is a lot of information missing here. How do you do dishes and laundry? How come you are so confident about your accounting of your 3 kids' activities and so confident that she and her husband are wrong about their 1 child? You have 2 kids very close in age to her daughter. Do they not interact at all? You know for a fact that your children don't stop off for a snack when coming or going. This seems like a stressful situation, and I would try to keep that in mind when dealing with your Sil. Not the asshole. But I have a really hard time believing 12 and 8 are spending the whole day at the construction site. And not sneaking snacks when they take bathroom breaks, etc. And if she doesn't want help cleaning the bathroom, then maybe there is a chore your kids could help with to make up for it. 14 meters 12 f 8 meters who are spending all day at a construction site can't be super clean in the bathroom. If you can't find compromise, and I agree your kids shouldn't clean her whole house, I'd suggest finding elsewhere to stay. A chore list probably isn't worth creating a family rift over. If you guys are doing construction all day and using their house for the bathroom, how much dirt are you bringing into the house multiple times a day? Construction is not clean work. And are you only in the house 1 person at a time? Or are there times when someone is waiting for the bathroom to be empty? If so, where do they wait? Are you always in their house with your kids to make sure they stay off furniture carpeted areas while covered in construction dirt waiting for the bathroom? The chore list is too much. But you might need to re-evaluate the impact you are having on her house. I would absolutely agree to the kids cleaning the bathroom or maybe sweeping the path they take to the toilet. Entire sister is. Am I the asshole for allowing my brother to be homeless? My brother older Dave hasn't worked since 2020 when he was first laid off. His reasoning is he's not taking a job at a lower pay because it will hurt in his salary negotiation process. So he's not taking another job until he finds one that pays like his old job did. His wife left him because of this. In the divorce, Dave got the house. He's going through the foreclosing process now. He's run out of savings. He's looking for a place to stay, and I have an extra bedroom, but Dave is not coming here to freeload. He has to have a job. I'd settle for any job, even a part-time job, but Dave is still stubbornly insisting he's not working for less than he's worth. I finally got upset and said fine, be homeless. Dave was extremely pissed off that I wouldn't even consider taking him in until he finds this job. My family members are on me about how could I allow Dave to be homeless, but I don't see anyone else offering their spare rooms and couches to Dave. Not the asshole. Just the idea that he would get paid the same amount as his old job after being laid off and not working for 3 years is idiocy. Even if you or anyone in your family took him in, odds are he would stay jobless until he got kicked out. He needs a reality check. And if this is what it takes, then so be it. Not the asshole. I used to work at our county welfare department. I remember a man who was holding out for a high-paying job. I suggested he apply to UPS. He said no. He was too good to work at UPS. I remember thinking to myself, you're too proud to work at UPS, but you're not too proud to apply for welfare. Your brother appears to have a similar attitude. He's too proud to take just any job. But he's not too proud to mooch off of you. Don't let him. With his attitude, he may never find a job. And may never move out if you let him move in. Not the asshole might hurt him in the salary negotiation process. He knows he doesn't have to tell a potential employer that he's currently employed. He already has a gap in his resume. He's lazy. Not the asshole. He isn't homeless because his house burned down or his disability or whatever. He is homeless because he chooses to be. Work and pay your bills and have a wife and house, or do nothing and be homeless. He had options. He doesn't get to pick don't work and freeload off my unwilling relative. For what it is worth, I've been in a similar situation with my sister but years ago and did not let her move in. With perspective that comes with time, it most certainly the right decision for both of us. Not the asshole. Let's take a quick count of what he's lost. 1. His wife. 2. His house. 3. His pride. 4. His relationship with you. 5. Likely. More possessions than you know about. 6. His mind. Of all the things he hasn't lost. His dignity. He's chosen this hill to be homeless on. Your family should pick up his slack and not be butthurt that you won't. Your family tar as well. You've made good choices. Op. I'm sorry, but after 3 years out of work, a divorce and a foreclosure, Dave's not worth anything anymore, so he really should accept the fact that Noon's gonna pay him a lot. Dave allowed Dave to be homeless, not you. Not the asshole. You are not allowing your brother to be homeless. It is entirely his decision. You are under no obligation to provide free room and board for him. You presented a reasonable option for him to have a place he refused. If your family is upset, ask them, so why don't you let him stay with you? Then ask your brother, how is you plan working for you? Lost a job, a marriage, and a home. Doesn't seem to be panning out. Not the asshole. You aren't allowing anything to happen. Your brother is throwing his life away as fast as he can. This may be the wake-up call he needs. Dave is still stubbornly interesting. He's not working for less than he's worth. He's being paid exactly what he's worth at this point. Seriously. Any job is better than no job. And your stipulation is very reasonable. If the rest of the family feels so strongly that Dave should be able to stay somewhere while he's unemployed, they can open the doors to him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Send him to the family members' houses since they care about him so much. I read things like this and say to myself, it can't be real. Just stunning how the minds of some folks work. Not the asshole. Pride goeth before a fall. And your brother is falling hard but keeping that pride. Not the asshole. He needs a wake-up call to look for a job now. As you say, other family members can take him in. You didn't allow your brother to be homeless. He made that choice. Period. Not the asshole. You aren't allowing Dave to be homeless. Dave is allowing that himself by not getting a job. He thinks he's too good to have a lower paying job that he had before. Even though it's been 3 years and he still hasn't found one. But he's not too good to mooch off of everyone else. That doesn't make sense. And to your family members. Yeah, if they have a problem with Dave being homeless, then they are welcome to invite him to live off of them. Not the asshole. Your brother has had options. Your extra bedroom is just that, an extra bedroom. Not an option for him. He has no income and he's 42. His pride will allow him to let you support him but not take a lower paying job. Once his choice is living homeless and he does decide to get that job, make sure you have a legal lease in place. Personally, I would rescind the offer completely. How to know he won't quit after he moves in? Not the asshole. Your family members giving you grief over it can take him in for free if they care so much. My dad had this mentality. But everyone knew the longer you've been out of work, the harder it is to get the same pay when you come back. Don't do it. Not the asshole. Letting a freeloader into your home is a lot like bringing in bedbugs once they're in it. It's basically impossible to get rid of them. Not the asshole. Brother has a bad case of denial. In truth, he'll never make what he did that wasn't penetrated by even the threat of losing his own home. He had plenty of time during that process to swallow his pride. Take any job and save his home. He chose not to. Also, if he had totally identified with his job, his ego could have taken such a blow that he's in a state of depression. Still, only he can fix himself. Hopefully, he'll get help. Not the asshole. The ones who disagree can take him themselves. Not the asshole. This reminds me of that scene in Christmas Vacation about Eddie being unemployed for over 10 years. Because, according to his wife, he's holding out for a management position. Not the asshole. He's been a deadbeat for 3 years for pride reasons. Someone will take him in. But it doesn't have to be you. Anyone that says something to you, reply, "I'm glad to hear you're willing to take Dave in. I'll let him know." Dave is allowing Dave to be homeless, and if they care so much, let Dave move in with them. Am I the asshole for not taking my sister's parrot, which I promised to take care of at 9? So here's the backstory. When I was just a 9-year-old and my sis Jane was 16, she got this African grey parrot, Pepper. Using her job money, she totally loved this bird. One day, she made me swear that if anything ever happened to her, I'd look after Pepper. Me, being a goofy kid, I was like, sure, why not? Fast forward 20 years later. Jane is totally fine, but she's got this killer job offer overseas. She has to move into company housing where pets aren't allowed. Now she's saying I have to stick to my promise and take care of Pepper. But here's the deal. I'm in no shape to care for a bird. I've got a small apartment with no outdoor space. I'm super busy with my job. Plus, Pepper isn't the easiest bird. He really only likes Jane and can get all cranky without her. To top it off, these birds can live for like 60 years. Pepper's only halfway there. And, if you didn't know, these things are loud. Despite this, Jane's all like you promised and even brought our parents into it. They think I should somehow work it out because Jane's got this big opportunity and, in their words, your word is your bond. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I was 9, yeah. I did make that promise. But come on. I had no clue what I was saying yes to. Now, my family's acting like I'm some kind of villain. So, Reddit. Hit me with it. Am I the asshole? For not wanting to take care of Pepper, the parrot I promised to look after when I was all of 9 years old. Not the asshole. When Jane adopted it, she promised to look after it for life. And here she is, a couple of decades later, trying to pawn it off on someone else for her own convenience. Tell Jane that nothing has happened to her, the bird just became inconvenient. So her 9-year-old promise doesn't apply. Jane is still alive and well. If she dies, I'm sure the OP will be happy to reconsider. Until then, the bird remains Jane's responsibility. The real assholes here are your parents who allowed your sister to buy a high-maintenance pet that lives for 60-80 years. How stupid are they? You're not the asshole. Not the asshole. At 9 years of age I made a promise to love the pretty girl in my 4th grade class forever. Not the asshole. A 9-year-old can't make this kind of promise. It's crazy to expect him to follow through. Especially 20 years later. Also, it's not even technically correct since nothing happened to your sister. She just wants to step back from her own commitment which she made when 16 years old, and that included getting a pet that lives 60 years. Who does that? Yet somehow your commitment as a 9-year-old kid who made a stupid promise must be kept. She made me swear that if anything ever happened to her, I'd look after Pepper. As I can see, she did not die or become completely disabled. So nothing actually happened to her. She just wants to get rid of her bird for whatever reason. So, being honest, she is and needs to rehome her pet to a good home willing to take it. You don't. So Pepper wouldn't be happy with you anyway. But anything hasn't happened to her. She's alive and well and perfectly capable of making appropriate fostering arrangements on her own. Remind her that the conditions were if anything happened to her, so you will take in Pepper if she's hospitalized or dies. That's what you promised to do. You didn't agree to play foster parent at her convenience. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You were 9. The only R's are your parents for getting a 16-year-old a bird. Not the asshole. There are rescue orgs that can help with rehoming parrots. You are absolutely right. You cannot take care of a parrot right now or maybe ever. And that's not a reflection on you. They are like owning screaming toddlers that can tear your house down if you turn your back for 5 minutes. And that's putting it extremely mildly. Toddlers that stay toddlers, as you say, for up to 60 years. Your sister needs to make other arrangements or not take the job. Not the asshole. First, you were 9. Second, getting a job offer does not equate to something happening to her. She's making a choice to change her life circumstances. So she needs to make a choice in how to care for her bird. It would be different if she were not capable of making decisions or providing care. My mother had one of these parrots. When she moved abroad, she left it with my grandmother. The poor bird died of sorrow and my mother never forgave herself. Not the asshole sister manipulated you, making you swear at age 9. In the US, one must be 18 to enter a contract. You family is really piling on a guilt trip. She is 7 years older than you and needs to figure out care for Pepper. Walk away from this request guilt-free. Your parents are the root cause for this outcome. Who allows a 16-year-old to own a parrot when in 2 years their life will change drastically? Join the military. Move for a job. Attend college in a different country. Not the asshole. I suggest that you stick to your word. You promised to take the parrot if anything happened to your sister. I would take in my brother's kids if he died in a car crash. But not if he decided to dump him to go abroad. One is a tragedy, the other a choice. Lay this out for your family. Not the asshole, a promise from so long ago as a 9-year-old. That can't be expected to be held true. Not the asshole, you aren't of age at 9 to enter a binding contract agreement. Not the asshole, why would she want you to take care of it when you actually can't and aren't able to at this time? Wouldn't a responsible bird owner want the bird taken care of by someone who could actually do it? Parents think it's okay because they don't want the bird in their house. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And even so, your promise isn't valid. Nothing happened to her. She is in good health to be able to take care of this parrot. She is choosing not to by taking the job offer overseas, and while I don't blame her for doing so, that is a choice she made, with this being a consequence of it. Not the asshole. Your sister is. She bought the bird. A new job offer is not enough of a reason to not fulfill the contract with the bird ownership. Either your parents take it or it gets rehomed. Info: would your parents be able to take care of the bird? In any case. Not the asshole. It's not even that you don't want to. You genuinely wouldn't be able to care for it appropriately. Tell your whole stupid family that minors cannot make a contract. Why don't your parents take Pepper? Not the asshole. I have an ag myself. And you absolutely are not the asshole for knowing your limitations. Not the asshole. A bird is not a thing to be passed around. African greys are very intelligent and need a rich environment to challenge them. And they need society. There are parrot rescues that would take him in. I think. Your sister and your parents are loony if they think a 9-year-old's casual yes is a contract. Good. 20 years later. Do the best for the bird. Find him a loving home. Not the asshole, even if you made that promise last week about some hypothetical future situation. But it's especially absurd because you made it when you were 9. Taking in a pet or child is a commitment you should only make when you are fully willing, ready and able to care for it properly. You aren't. That's all your sister should need to know before pursuing responsible rehoming through other means. Am I the asshole for telling someone I'm not friendly when the dog came up to me? Went to a brewery restaurant with my wife. Our dream wedding, but want to keep it small. From the get-go. My fiancé and I both said that we do not want any children at our wedding due to a number of reasons. 1. We want to get married in the bush somewhere where wild animals roam freely. And the age limit is 16 and up. This is non-negotiable because small children are at risk. Venue requirements. 2. We both know from personal experiences that one person always ends up looking after the children and do not enjoy the wedding. 3. We want to have just adults at the wedding so that we can celebrate the day properly. My parent and siblings explicitly stated that my nieces and nephews will be required to go to the wedding, and I have no choice in this matter. My dad even went as far to say that if my nephew will not be allowed to go, he will then also not go. This broke my heart as I am the only girl in the family and now he doesn't want to even attend. My brothers said I do not care what she wants. My children will be there. Take into consideration that all my nieces and nephews are under the age of 7. My fiancé's family has been super supportive and respects our wishes of not having any children at the wedding. They even made arrangements up until this point to have the little ones taken care of. Now I am honestly considering not inviting my parents anymore because they are forcing me to do something that is not part of our wishes. I love them all dearly, But I feel they don't want to make the sacrifice for me and my fiancé's big day. As I ultimately mean it us getting married and not them. So would I be the asshole for telling them that I will not be inviting them as they want to? Rather spend the day with their grandchildren than celebrate the day with me. Edit 1 forgot to add. My fiancé and I are paying for our whole wedding. Neither the in-laws nor my family us contributing a cent because it's always a one-sided competition with my mom of they gave this much and we can only give this and now we look bad or stuff like that, so we are avoiding this situation completely. Not the asshole. My parent and siblings explicitly stated that my nieces and nephews will be required to go to the wedding and I have no choice in this matter. Remarkable. I don't know what else to say. My brothers said I do not care what she wants. My children will be there. They really are the gift that keeps on giving. If the venue requires everyone to be over 16, then the venue won't allow them in. It's beyond yours and their control. So they can try and bring them, but it means they won't be allowed in the venue. They are not respecting your wishes or the venue. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Call their bluff. If your dad would really rather take a silly stand about venue requirements rather than give his only daughter away, wheel that gets to be his regret. Fill your wedding with people who love and support you. No negativity allowed. My brothers said I do not care what she wants. My children will be there. This is more than whinging about babysitters or feeling left out. Why are your brothers being dictators? That makes no sense. I would uninvite the whole lot. And, if possible, change the date. And not tell them. I have seen some family members railroad people here. But this is ridiculous. They aren't paying a dime. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your wedding. Your rules. But did you tell them that it's not that you just don't want kids there, but that kids aren't allowed to be there for safety measure? To be totally honest, if you have already tell them that, then your family isn't the smartest. Not the asshole. The bride and groom don't need any reason other than we want a child-free wedding. It is your wedding. It's too bad that your family is being such pills about this. But heck, if you're getting married in a venue that doesn't allow kids under 16, the problem sort of solves itself, right? Stick to your guns. This mindset of some people, that children should just be accepted everywhere, no matter what, is toxic as all get out. Mom and grandma here. Grown kids. Several grandkids. People have a right to enjoy things child-free if they want to. Not the asshole uninvite them because they've already said they will break the rule anyway. Follow that up by going low contact. Not the asshole. Your parents are not interested in you getting married. They want a family reunion paid for by you. That's why they are all insisting. It sounds like there have been a lot of conversations about it behind your back. Are you the family scapegoat by any chance? ETA, please put a public post on social media stating the venue's rules. I wouldn't put it past them to turn up with the kids and turn it all around on you. How sad that you have to preemptively think of the possible ways your family will try to ruin your special day. No, you would not. This is your wedding. Your day. If they want to make it about themselves, so be it. They can miss out on what will be a wonderful ceremony and suck it up. Do what you need to do, op. Not the asshole assuming you're paying for the wedding yourself. Just say, as cheerfully as possible, sorry, brother, dad, etc. We're not having children under 16 due to venue requirements and safety issues. If this means you can't attend the wedding, We understand and hope to celebrate with you some other time. Now, if your dad is paying for some or all of the wedding, you have to abide by his rules and let him have some control over the guest list if you're paying for it yourself. Then you have full reign over the guest list. Not the asshole's your wedding. Not theirs. If you don't want kids there, then no kids should be there. And personally, I'd hire a bouncer just to be sure none of them do try to show up with the kids. Not the asshole. Just let them know you are sorry to hear that they won't be able to attend your wedding. Don't bother even sending them invitations based on what they are saying. Because if they are SVP yes, then turn up with the kids. The venue won't let them in because of safety. So you will have paid for people not attending. No. I'd tell them to come alone without kids or not at all. And if dad said he isn't coming because the kids aren't, tell him that that is fine if that is what he chooses to do. It's your wedding and you shouldn't have to make an exception for them just because they are family. Which I'm guessing is why they are doing it to begin with. Not the asshole. Email the venue what would happen if people turn up with children. Hopefully they will confirm that they will be refused entry. Include it in the wedding invitations and let the chips fall where they fall. At the end of the day, as bride and groom, you 100 decide the sort of wedding you have. Likewise, your guests 100 get to decide if they want to attend or not. Oh hell no. Not the asshole. You are definitely in the right for not allowing children. If they don't want to attend because of that, that's their problem. I would make sure there is security. In case they still try to show up with the kids. You are in no way the not the asshole. And with this attitude from your family, I would seriously consider eloping. Not the asshole. Explain to your parents that the venue does not allow children. They would not be allowed even if your siblings showed up with your nieces and nephews. Ask your parents, are they willing to end your relationship over one day? Once you get the point across to your parents, perhaps they can emphasize it to your siblings since they are backing up the siblings. I'm sure they will pass this on to them as well.